I am here in the San Juan Islands, home of a lot of whales, and Jedfish and Company just landed a big one. 6'8", 335-pound offensive lineman Dominic Harris, another gigantic building block for this Washington Huskies offensive line. We'll talk about that. This is Group Chat Sports. We are covering transactions all over the country, whether it's portal, recruiting, coaching changes, you name it. We got you covered here at Group Chat Sports. Like and subscribe. But a big one here for the Washington Huskies, who continue to add just pure size on that offensive line as they get ready to play in the Big Ten. So let's take a look at some specs on Mr. Harris, 3-star offensive tackle out of Las Vegas, Nevada. There you see verified 6'7.5", 335 pounds, mid to high 3-star prospect, number 4 player in Nevada. But look at the schools that we're talking about here. Auburn, which he already visited. Washington, committed on his visit. You look at Arizona, Arkansas, obviously a big offensive line producer. Track and field production, big indicator of future success for offensive linemen. You talk about the shot put, the discus requiring athleticism and other just pure power, right, at that sport. And you see it on film. So let's take a look at that film when we're talking about Dominic Harris. Because one thing to have size, another thing to actually be able to put it to use. And, he's still raw, but you see the ability. I like the athleticism of someone who can also play defensive tackle. We talked about the track background. But I mean, look at this dude right there in the middle. I don't have to put a circle around the player that you know who we are talking about there. You see him in space, boom, causing havoc. That's that two-way athleticism. A lot of these guys that end up being these great offensive linemen, you see them playing both ways, and that enables, that aggressiveness and athleticism enables them to find success as they learn their technique on offensive line. There you see them in space pulling, being able to hit a smaller target and then send them into the front row. Some quotes from Dominic Harris when he committed. Said the way Coach Twitcher and Coach Brewster were coaching, I love what they're doing with their guys. Spent some time with the 2026 quarterback commit for the Washington Huskies, Derek Zammit, big-time recruit. They beat Alabama for. He said he's a cool guy. Spent an hour talking to him. He's a really great guy. I think this class is going to be elite. We are all excited to be part of it. He actually committed on a yacht on a lake. He said the coaches almost jumped in the lake. It was great. We were all really excited when it came down to it. Washington just felt like home. West Coast guy. That's pretty amazing, man. Commit on a lake there. Pretty cool lifestyle for these young Washington Huskies. So you look at the offensive line class for the Huskies and Jetfish. Cody Green, 5-star player. Adyong Yang, both of these local guys. So you put the group together, just average out all their weights. 6'6", 336 pounds. So there's no secret what Jetfish is trying to do. He was up in Arizona, had some offensive linemen get drafted out of their first round, second round type players. So he's no stranger to having these athletic monsters up front. Washington, of course, has its own proud tradition. A lot of tackles going on and guards going on to the NFL, starting games, playing for some of the best teams in the NFL, whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Ravens. You see Huskies all over the place, and they love that tradition and continue. You see him right here, pass blocking. I mean, look, he's overmatching these guys he's going against in Nevada, but I like the movement skills to be able to just reach these smaller guys. He's not just leaning on them. I wouldn't say he's necessarily striking them, but he's bending his knees and getting square enough that he's getting them square. It's not just like, hey, I'm just gonna run into you and lean on you and you fly. You see footwork there. You see him on balance. Was he going to be a guard? Is he going to be a tackle? That remains to be seen. It's just going to come down to really how his athleticism and technique comes along. Right now, you look at him, you say probably more of a guard prospect, but who knows how his body will develop once he's really in an elite strength and conditioning program and slimming down, moving around and getting where he needs to be. So that's a TBD on that one. But I just think there's an offensive line saying that stands out to me, and that is mass kicks. You know what? And you see that in practice with Washington. Now, as we look at Washington's recruiting class, some of the committed players, 20 composite, but I think they're doing a pretty fine job. When you start with Cody Green, a 5-star type player, Derek Coleman, Brusa, big edge, just a lot of size in this class. Gavin Day, big safety, another Nevada kid. Like Harris, this was from Las Vegas. Derek Zammit, we talked about earlier, high 3-star player, which had to go to New Jersey and beat out Alabama. Pretty good program with your old coach there. Kalen DeBoer trying to land Zamet. You win that battle. Ansu Sano from Lake Oswego, Oregon, suburb of Portland. Big running back. We mentioned Dominic Harris. Keeping Elijah Durr local from the Tacoma, Washington area. So many great corners have come through this program. 6'1", 170. Kasani Giles, guy's been on the radar at IMG since he was like a freshman. 6 foot, 180. A lot of cornerbacks from that West Coast. Kasani Giles originally from the West Coast. CJ Lavender from Mater Dei, probably the best program in the country. We mentioned Adeong Yang, who's a offensive, listed as defensive lineman, probably projects as an offensive lineman for our purposes here. And also CJ Wallace, the kicker. Got to have the kicker. So listen, Washington is doing some nice things. They're protecting the home turf. They're going into California. They're going into Nevada. They're going into Oregon. They're getting a lot of players, man, that can make plays. They're going to get a quarterback that is a savvy player, a playmaker, an athletic guy I really liked when I got to see him live in person. He can move. He's an accurate guy. And then not that much different than Damon Williams, probably less athletic, but not that much less athletic, a little taller. Just a playmaking, instinctive player. And when you have giants in front of you, it's going to be a lot easier. So like and subscribe to Group Chat. We covered all your commitments for your favorite school, portal commitments, everything. We got it covered here on Group Chat. So please like and subscribe.